name's Micah John Ardropoulos. Nobody ever gives me nicknames, don't know why. 4 facts about Micah John Ardropoulos. Fact number 1, my name is Micah John Ardropoulos. Fact number 2, I ride bikes all year long, all types. I bake cookies. And fact number 4, I love Jesus. And those are 4 facts about me. I've been in Marquette since 2006. I went to Marquette Senior High School. I was a young man once, and in the springtime, yeah, that's when the bike swap always happens. Can you imagine a kid at a candy shop, but like the candy is bikes, and the enjoyment that the kid gets from that is like whoop, on the exponential curve, like right here, as opposed to candy, which is right here. And the x-axis is the y-axis is enjoyment, and the x-axis is I don't know what the x-axis is. That right here, this is the Marquette County Bike Swap, which happens once every year, and oh man, it is. There are bikes, all kinds of bikes. You can get road bikes, like mountain bikes. You can get fat tires, and you can get cross trail. You can get surly bikes. You can get salsa. You can get, oh man, there's everything. But the problem is, you've only got so much money, and as a 16-year-old kid, you only have like, I don't know, $10, $15, maybe 45 if you're like rolling in the dough. But I was not rolling in the dough, unfortunately. At that time I didn't know how to bake, so I did, but that's beside the point. Well, the first thing anybody would notice about the bike is that the bike didn't have a seat, which was, it doesn't have a seat, it's whatever, you can go buy a seat, it's not a big deal. But second thing you notice about the bike is the color. That if you got the hard candies, they boiled down to like, I don't know, 5 different flavors, There's like strawberry, cherry, apple, bleh, boring stuff. But the perfect flavor is blue raspberry. And that was the color of this bike. And every time you saw it, you would taste blue raspberry. And it was delicious. It was a 1969 Takaro road bike. It was the exact same model as my grandma has, actually. Yeah, it was fast. It was a fast bike. I mean, it was clunky. It was clunky because it was old. But whatever. Oh man, how long did I have the bike that, when you have something for so long, it just like fuses to you and becomes a part of your identity. Like that is how I felt about this bike. It's just like, I earned my freedom on it, like in the American sense. So I had this bike for like, I don't know, around, it felt like 5 years. I probably wasn't, it was probably more like 3 years. But when you're in high school, everything feels like forever. Well, anyway, I was in cross country, and I had ridden my bike to school that morning, but we had a meet, and it was in Munising or something. We got back at like midnight, and I did not want to ride my bike home. So then my dad took me a ride, and I didn't like the bike, because it's Marquette. Like, who's gonna steal a bike in Marquette? Nobody. But if you leave a bike out for 5 days, like I did, somebody's probably gonna think it was left there or something. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I got sick, and I was out for like the whole weekend, and then like 3 days after that. And so it just sat there unlocked in front of MSHS for 5 days. So when I got back 5 days later, I was like, what? So many people steal things? I was shocked that in Marquette, of all places. Of course, I was kind of irresponsible, and I was like, whatever, man. Whatever. It was a sad day. In the Bible, Jesus says, if a man takes your coat, give him like your jacket as well. So basically, if somebody takes something from you, like, it's fine. Like, just let it go. And the reason I can is because I know God's given me so much back. I can't deny somebody else something like when I've been given so much. Jesus is more important to me than that bike, even though that bike was pretty important to me. So I graduated high school, and now I'm at MU, and the bike follows me. I started seeing it at NMU, which was weird, until over the winter, I saw it sitting behind the LRC, just locked up, sitting there, And that's the worst thing you can do for a bike. I was a little bit upset, but, whatever. I went to talk to public safety about it, which I wouldn't have normed otherwise, but my buddy just moved into town, and he was walking every day from his house to Buffalo Wild Wings where he worked, and it took him like half an hour one way. And I figured that if this guy was just leaving it out in the winter, my buddy probably needed it more than he did. So yeah, called it public safety, and about a week later, they'd wait around to see if anyone would claim it, but they, popped the chain, and they just handed it to me. From what I remember, now I just rode the bike from where it was to David's place, and then he had it from there on. I think it was a winter. I'm pretty sure it was a winter later, because David had gotten his super cool aluminum winter bike. David, just like me, we left our bikes out just unlocked until one night David woke up and both of his bikes were gone. And that bike, man, that was his pride and joy. So I don't normally check Craigslist, but for some reason I did that night. I looked for bikes on Craigslist, just to see what was there. And right there, it was blue raspberry, plain as day. And I was shocked, man. I felt like being in one of those crime dramas when you realize who the killer was. After I saw it on Craigslist, I called the police, and yeah, they asked me a couple questions and they talked to Dave about stuff. So the guy left his number on Craigslist, and the police suggested that we set up a time to meet up with him and see if we could, buy the bike. So David calls him up, and I guess the guy scheduled a meeting at his place, which is convenient, it's right at his place. We can conduct a sting. So being in a police officer's car, it's I didn't think it would be as stressful or as intense as it was. So we drove around back. Behind his place there was like this big old shed with storage. And there was like a wall of trees. I guess the police officers were gonna just kind of like casual drive around outside and say, hey, that bike's stolen. and then they were just gonna work it out with them, and we just walked up there, and the guy was there, and we were trying to keep straight face, and we're trying to well, hey, we're totally normal. Yeah, what's going on? Oh yeah, right, the bike. Oh yes, of course. The police officer just walked up behind him silently, and okay, this is his shoulder right here, and he's like, son, do you know this bike is stolen? And then you could just see his face was and he didn't make eye contact with us for the whole rest of the thing. I felt really bad. Yeah, so now Blue Raspberry's sitting up on the top in the attic, and I think he's missing a tire, and the front derailleur's busted, which is a real shame because those are original components from the 1960s, man. And I guess he's probably sat there ever since. The bike's only value was sentimental, and I don't know, it just wasn't that great of a bike. It's to me, it was the world. But to anybody else, I just don't see why anybody would steal it twice. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Don't plan a plan if you can't follow through. All that matters is taking matters into